You know how sometimes the best way to get your head around a really complex idea isn't a textbook, but a simple story? Well, today we're going to dive into a fascinating project that does exactly that. It uses a whole world of imaginary animals to unpack some big ideas about positive psychology in the workplace. So let's see how it all works.
It all kicks off with a simple, kind of playful question. What on earth can an imaginary elephant teach us about something as real and important as compassion at work? I know, it sounds a little out there, right? But trust me, stick with me on this one, because this is where it gets really good.
All right, first up, let's meet the star of the show. This is Fonty. He's an imaginary elephant just hanging out in New York City. And believe it or not, he's the spark that started this whole creative journey.
So, Fonty isn't just some random character, right? He's a really smart metaphor. Think about it. His huge size, that's meant to represent the sheer scale of New York City itself. But that's mixed with the deep empathy that elephants are famous for, a quality that the author, Rachana Bide, saw popping up all over the city during the pandemic. So Fonty basically became this walking symbol of citywide kindness.
And this is where things really started to click. What began as this whimsical little story, it started to evolve into something much bigger. You see, the magic of a good metaphor is that it takes a new, abstract idea and connects it to a pattern our brain already gets. And that's exactly what happened here. The stories about Fonty started to feel familiar. They started to mirror our own lives and became these amazing tools for understanding ourselves.
But as these ideas got bigger and bigger, one elephant and one city just wasn't going to cut it. The concept needed more room to breathe. And so an entirely new imaginary world was created just to hold all these ideas. Welcome to Happy Haven.
So, what's the difference between these two places? Well, think of it like this. Fonty's New York City is grounded in reality. It's the place where those real-world acts of compassion were first observed. But Happy Haven, that's the sandbox. It's this aspirational, what-if kind of place, a total laboratory for the imagination, where you can explore huge, complicated ideas with zero limits.
And the whole premise of Happy Haven is pretty awesome. In this world, AI handles all the grunt work. So what are the animal residents left to do? Well, all the fun stuff. They get to just think, create, work together, and get this, they even become authors themselves, sharing their own unique perspectives on things.
So, what are these animal authors writing about? This is the real heart of the project. They create these books that are basically modern-day parables, exploring really deep principles of organizational and positive psychology through their own unique animal symbolism.
For example, let's take a look at a book from Happy Haven Publishing. The title is Otternomics. I mean, how fantastic is that title? But what's really fascinating is how it uses the natural behavior of otters to teach us about the modern workplace.
So, using otters as the metaphor, this imagined book tackles some incredibly relevant topics. It explores how play can spark innovation, the huge value of collaboration, how otters hold hands so they don't float away, and even how to adapt as a new generation, Gen Z, enters the workforce with a whole different set of values.
Let's look at another one. This one is called The Hard Thing About Hard Shells, Doing Business When You Carry the World on Your Back. And it follows the journey of a tortoise who's a venture capitalist.
And as you can imagine, this becomes a powerful metaphor for any founder or leader. The story uses that tortoise's shell to explore the immense weight of entrepreneurship, that personal journey of finding your home or your purpose, and that amazing realization that the strength you need is something you've been carrying with you all along.
So while the books are clever and a ton of fun, they're really just vehicles. At its very core, the entire world of Happy Haven is designed to be a creativity center, a space for us to use these animal stories as a mirror for a little self-reflection.
So why does all of this matter for you? Because this creative process, it's not just for psychologists or authors. It's a powerful tool that any of us can use to gain brand new perspectives on our own challenges.
In fact, you can break the whole method down into 4 simple steps. First, find a personal metaphor, an animal, an object, anything that really resonates with you. Second, build a world for it to exist in. Third, use that character and world to explore a problem or an idea through a story. And finally, take the insights you discover in that imaginary space and apply them back to reality.
And that's the ultimate goal, really. As the author says, creating a space like Happy Haven gives us permission to play with big ideas in a safe and creative way. And that helps us understand not just our work, but ourselves, and maybe even our collective psyche a little bit better.
So that just leaves us with one last question to think about. If you were to create your own Fonty, your own personal symbol to help you think differently, what would it be? What simple metaphor could be the key to unlocking a totally new perspective for you?